Today, we're going to talk about the myth of girl power. It's official, like a referee with a whistle. So, yeah, I got this question from long time listener. And this, it kind of centers around the feminist movement. And he said, basically, Roy, I think about these women that got the feminist mindset that say, "Oh, I don't need no man," and whatever a man can do, a woman should be able to do without judgment and consequences. And what I think about women that have that mindset that they basically take the lowest of lows characteristics of men, and they want to do what a man can do. For example, you have women that will look at a man and say, "Hey, if a man can run through a bunch of women, lay up with a bunch of women, and they'll big up him, high five him, and give him props. Well, how come a woman can't do the same thing? If a woman do the same thing, she's looked at as a whore or a slut or something like that or whatever. Well, that's not fair." It's that type of mindset. Everything they'll look at everything a man does, and it's always the lowest common denominator. It's never something that's positive very often. Pay attention to that. There's a pattern that a lot of these women have. There's almost never anything positive that they would like to do that the man's doing. It's always something it's the lowest of lows. Sleeping with a bunch of women, that's not necessarily a positive thing. That's nothing to really brag about. Why do you want to sleep with a bunch of people anyway? Why would a woman sit back and be like, "Hey, he's doing it, I want to do it too"? What type of mindset does a woman has to have to even think that? I don't even call her a woman. I call her a female, because obviously she's not fully developed. That's why we call them degenerates. Degenerates mean they're just not fully developed yet. They're just not there. So I won't even call her a woman. I would call her a female. A female, she's still growing. Hopefully she gets there one day. But some of these women, there's a lot of women out there that's like this. And see, this is a con that white women started. I think it might have started in the 40s. As far as the feminist mindset movement goes, if I'm not mistaken, it really started in the 40s, and it kind of took off in the 60s. And it took off in the 60s when you had a lot of foreign black women moving over here, and all of a sudden they became the voice of all black women. It's funny how that happened. And a lot of these women, these foreign black women, or at least women with immigrant backgrounds, they've came out and said they were informants, or they were working for some type of agency back in the day. Or maybe somebody might have exposed them over the past 10, 20 years. They came out and said, "Yeah, I was CIA or FBI informant." The shit usually come out after about 20, 30 years. So a lot of these women, if you see her at the podium speaking like in the 70s and 80s, 9 times out of 10, she was informant. She was working for some agency back in the day. But but the media acted like, oh, she's speaking for all black women in America. And that's not true. Because I didn't even know nothing about no feminist movement until I was about 21. When I left home, I was 19 when I went to college. And this is like 93, 94. And that's when I started hearing about the feminist women. There weren't no women acting like that. Well, women don't, still to this day, women don't really act like that where I'm from. Now, the women that do act like that, they had to leave. They left and went somewhere else. They left and went to Atlanta, or Florida, someplace like that. They took that shit, that feminist mindset, wherever they wanted to take it. You know what I'm saying? Because where I'm from, we don't really play that type of shit. We don't really get down like that. Where I'm from, women separate themselves from women with that feminist mindset. Now today, what's happening, a lot of the young girls don't separate themselves from certain women. A lot of the, I guess, decent women of today, they'll be chilling along with all the girls. They'll chill with the Sexy Red types, Cardi B types. They chilling all. They all in the same group today, just chilling, sitting down at the table, listening or eating or going to the party together, going to church together. Everybody in the same group today. Everybody's hanging out today. Nobody's saying, hey, that shit ain't cool, girl. You need to relax. Nobody's saying anything today. It's all good today. It's girl power. But we know it's bullshit. We know it's a con. We know a lot of these women are opportunists. We already know it. The guys that really been around and have seen it, we know it's bullshit. We might not know exactly what they're doing, but we know some bullshit going on. And it's always been that way, because see, I lived in Atlanta for 11 years and I seen this, I seen this shit like for about 9 years. I knew some of these women that were so-called feminists. And they had in Atlanta, they got all kind of shit going on. They got all type of meetups, all type of conferences and stuff like that. In Atlanta, whatever you looking for, they got it. It's being sponsored by somebody. Somebody's having an event. Somebody's having a conference. Atlanta is a wide open place. I'll give you an example. There's a black business conference being held in Atlanta next month, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, if you hear black business conference, in your mind you'd be like, oh, okay, I guess they're talking about black American people, right? But no, if you go to their website, you're gonna see a bunch of foreigners. You ain't gonna really see no black person that's born and raised here in America. Everybody else their names is from Kenya, Ghana, Sudan, someplace else. You know what I'm saying? So this is the confusion that you're gonna run into in a place like Atlanta. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors there. It might say one thing, but if you pull back the curtain, it's gonna be a whole different thing. Because somebody told me about it because she's gonna be speaking at the conference. So I'm like, okay, if she's going to be speaking there, maybe this is a good place for me to attend. Until I went to the website and I saw who was having it, and I saw who was going to be speaking there. I don't know any of these people. Never heard of them, but I was led to believe something else based on my own way of thinking, and this stuff happens all the time. And this is what happened with the feminist movement. What happened is white women, started it basically, and when they con the foreign black women to be, they front line, they speaking, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, white women, it's really a power move for them, because a lot of white women back in the day looked at it like, when even still to this day, they look at it like you shouldn't be giving black men the power to vote or the power to do anything over her as a white woman. That was the thing. So what used to happen is white women used to try to punk the white guys, to say, hey white man, what you doing? How come you giving these black people shit over us? We supposed to be next after you. You know what I'm saying? If we can't be first, you know what I'm saying? We I guess we'll be second, but we can't be third. We can't be after the Negro. That's what we used to call black people in those days. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that shit was about. And the thing is, living in Atlanta, let me tell you what I saw. I saw this with my own eyes. A lot of these so-called feminist women, white women, what I used to see a lot is, now a lot of these women are married and have kids. So they would come to the meetup, and it might be 50 to 100 people at this meetup, right? Some people would speak, say what they want to say, and afterwards, people before and after, people would network and exchange info or whatever, right? But I noticed there's a lot of the white women, I'm gonna say the majority of white women, would leave with their husbands. So they would go back home with their husbands, and the rest of these women, they had no family. They don't got no husband. So I'm like, what the hell? Y'all just being con. Y'all, you don't even have to figure this shit out. This shit is clear as day. You just looking at it. This woman is getting in the car with her husband. She's going home to her family. And meanwhile, you, as the foreign black woman or a Latin woman or whatever, or anything else in between, basically Korean, whatever, you going back home to your dog. She's going back home, her family. What type of fool is you? So this is the type of shit I used to see, and this went on for like a year. This meetup went on, at least I went to it for like a year, because I looked at it like this is an opportunity for me to maybe meet somebody and maybe do some type of business with. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at it. I wasn't concerned about what the hell they was talking about. I didn't really give a fuck, to be honest. But these women are just opportunists. The white women. And even some of these foreign black women, they're just opportunists. They don't really give a damn about no family like that. They just want to be able to do what they want to do with no judgment. The whole thing was just a con for white women to get power. That's what the whole thing was about. It wasn't about no damn family or her having woman's rights. It was never about that. It was never about that. You know, the whole thing was just a con. And see, here's the thing about white women that, and a lot of these other groups of women don't understand. White women put race first over girl power. They put race first over being a woman, and y'all go black girl magic and all the bullshit phrases that they come up with. And wow, us women need to stick together. But they put race first. Everything else comes afterwards. Religion, being a woman, the job, money, kids, whatever. All that shit comes later. After race first, then we can talk about being a woman. You and me being a woman. But they put race first. Now, I see a lot of these other groups of women don't understand that. They'll put, I'm a stud or a lesbian or some shit like. They'll put that first, and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm a stud, you a stud. We need to stick together." No, even some of those gay whites put white first, race first. Then we can talk about being gay. But they put race first. That's the distinction between the white women and the other groups of women. And a lot of other groups of women get caught off guard with that. They get, maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't know, or maybe they were, I don't know, gullible or naive. I don't know. But that's what I've seen. That girl power. That's why the girl power thing is really a myth. It's not really true, because white women are not really down with these other groups of women. They're not really cool like that. It's not the way it appears on the surface. It might look that way, but no. They might talk a good game, but they'll stab them, and white women will stab them, these other women in the back as soon as the benefits and the money come around. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But so whenever a lot of these women start talking they start throwing out these phrases, women must stick together, and these politicians, a lot of these women are politicians, they'd be like, well, I'm looking for women to support me, blah blah blah, this and that. It's cap. It's cap. Some bullshit. It's not really they're being dishonest, but those of us that have been around for a while, we know that it's some bullshit. We know that they're not being genuine. They're just opportunists. That's it. It's so, and some of these women, if they're naive to think that somehow you got some type of camaraderie with white women, you have nothing in common with a white woman. If you're from these other groups, not you, they want to be white, they want to be Anglo, but it ain't gonna happen. It ain't never gonna happen, because you got these women come over here, they'll get a nose job or dye their hair or bleach their skin. They're trying to get closest to Anglo as possible. It ain't never gonna happen. And they got an accent, and as soon as the Caucasian person pick up on the accent over here, they'll be like, hey, where you from? And it's, I'm from Colombia. I'm from, Mexico, some shit like, oh, you ain't one of us. So it's just a waste of time, and they want to be Anglo so bad, well, they'll even get mistreated. They'll get used and abused by the white woman, and she's still showing up at the party, showing up at the cookout, showing up at the house. She get used and abused. She might, some of these women get turned the fuck out by these white women and these white guys. And they'll never really complain about it. They won't really say anything about it. But over time, couple months, couple years, they'll end up drifting off, or they'll just drop them. The white people usually drop them like a bad habit, and then they'll move on and go find somebody else to use and abuse and mistreat, So the girl power thing, black girl magic, that shit don't really, it's bullshit. It's just a good catchphrase, something that sounds good. But in reality, it's just a con that white women started back in the day. And they still got it going, still to this day. But these other groups of women think they have something in common with white women, but the reality is they don't. And the sooner they find out the truth, the better off they'll be, and that way they won't be wasting their time. So share this video, and don't forget to check out my Patreon. That's patreon.com/SharpGame. Until next time, I'm out. Peace. Down the